Saleh. There is the masjid is going to fall quite a bit. So make sure, like, a couple of times you tell people you gotta come forward. Also, इसमें नीचे जो बेसमेंट है, so it's wired to sound now.
Just give me 1 second.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wow.
I mean, that's natural.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين واتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. Brothers and sisters, before I start, please move us forward if you can. There's people continuously coming in. We're now 6 months since October 7th, and what started as weeks has turned into months, and now it's been half a year. And we've talked about everything in these last 6 months through every khutbah. You've all heard it all. The injustice, the oppression. We felt every single emotion. We felt anger, the sorrow, we felt frustration. And we've gone through all the emotions, and now we're at a point where unfortunately some of us are losing attention and even getting to the point where getting a little annoyed, subhanAllah, to hear about Palestine. And may Allah protect us from ever getting tired about hearing about the calamity of our brothers. But it's been so long, and the question that we have to ask ourselves is, what have we done for them? And the answer is that we've done nothing. We, unfortunately, our hands are tied. The little money that we can give to them, we don't even know if it gets to them. And all we can do is make dua. But inshallah, I'm going to take a different angle and delve into some benefits that we can obtain from what we're seeing. Because when we go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and He asks us about this, it would be a shame for us to come to Him with nothing. We have done nothing for them, as they are being starved and bombed and killed. And we come to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with nothing. We didn't do a single thing to help any of them. So at the very least, the very, very least that we can do is when we go to Allah, we can say that at least I took away something, that I benefited myself, my family, that I've taken lessons from what the test that you've shown us on this earth. And there's many lessons that we can take. I want to start with a question that many Muslims are having. And it's an unfortunate question, but the reality is many of us ask it out loud, or some of us feel it, or we'll ask it quietly. Or our children might have asked you that why would Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow this to happen? How could such a thing happen to these Muslims and the third holiest site? Why would it happen? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Rahman and Rahim, and He's the most powerful, and so on and so on. But it's unfortunate to ask this question as a Muslim, because every second of every minute there are non-Muslims who are turning to Islam because of this calamity. Why? Because they're asking the opposite question. Instead of asking why is Allah doing this, they're asking how could Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala instill such faith and tawakkul into these people that they're still obedient to Him after what they've been through. So non-Muslims are increasing their iman by accepting Islam. And you can go all over social media, any platform, you'll see non-Muslims converting. You can go from Instagram Live to TikTok Live, there are non-Muslims reading the Quran now because they're questioning what faith could give all of these people so much strength that nothing bothers them. They're hungry, they're starved, they lost their homes, and yet they still cry to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We see the videos. A man, he just lost his 2 children, and he's in the hospital, he's in the morgue. And the people are trying to comfort him. And instead of crying, he gets up and makes wudu so that he can pray 2 rak'ahs to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to thank him for giving his children the opportunity to be martyrs, to shaheed. It's unbelievable. This level of iman, a scholar commented that we can study Aqidah for 50 years and we won't come to the level. We can study Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for that long and we won't be anything like them. So the first lesson is when you ask these questions, why would this happen? Just remember that you're questioning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And one of the answers, there's many answers. One of the answers is when you have these doubts, is to remember the basics. Go back to Qadr, right? Pre-decree, and tawakkul, and the purpose of this life. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put us here on this earth, not to live in comfort and in peace, but He put us here as a test, as we as Muslims believe. And we were given a very blessed opportunity that many of us forget. We forget that in the Quran, the angels, before we were even put on this earth, the angels asked Allah this question. When Allah informed the angels that He's creating mankind, humans, the angels asked, they questioned Allah, why would you make humans if all they're going to do is cause chaos and destruction and calamity? The angels asked Allah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told them, your Lord, I know what you do not know. So this question is not a new question. But what the angels failed to realize is that on one hand, yes, human beings create all this chaos and sorrow and destruction. But on the other hand, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given the option for us to become better than angels. So we're given 2 choices here. We can become better than angels because angels do not have choice. They listen and obey to Allah no matter what. So they don't have the option to sin. They have to obey Allah. We as humans, while having the option to sin, some of us will choose not to, or will choose tawbah and forgiveness, and will actually elevate themselves spiritually beyond that of an angel. And on the other hand, the side of the angels, that's Allah, the calamity and the evil and all the sadness that humans cause to each other and to ourselves, we have the option to be worse than animals on the other side. And we see many examples of human beings following their desires and really lowering themselves below an animal. And why is that? Because on the other side, animals also don't have choice. So animals live based on their desires. They're hungry, they eat. They want to procreate, they procreate. There's no thought. They don't build anything. They don't talk to each other, or they don't talk in advanced languages. There's no history. They don't remember things. So animals live just off their desires. And humans have the choice to live like that also. But why is it worse if a human chooses his desires? Because a human has the choice. So when you choose to live off of your desires and your hawa, like the non-Muslims do, and as our society is moving towards and teaching, then we're actually worse than animals. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to take the second option, the better option, to become better than angels. So that's one of the answers to that question. Why would Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cause this harm? Well, He put us here on this earth. Go back to the reason we're here. We're here because of the option that we have, to do good or to do evil. The second thing, another very important benefit that we can take from Palestine, from this calamity, is this idea of jubn, cowardliness. And it's one of the diseases of the heart. The Prophet ﷺ, he used to make dua. He used to always make dua against cowardliness. And cowardliness means fear. It means unconfidence. It means being scared of other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the reality here as Muslims in America is we can talk a lot. And we love to talk a lot. In the masjid or in our invitations or da'wats, when we get together, we talk about Palestine or any other calamity, we talk a big game. That if I was there, I would do this, I would protect them, I would do this and that. I would fight for them. But the reality is, and I don't want to mince my words as I'm speaking to myself also, is that we wouldn't do anything. We wouldn't do anything because we're so comfortable living how we live here. We forget that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us so much here that we live better than kings of the past. The AC and the things that you have weren't even used in existence 100 years ago. The king of any country you can think of, you live better than him right now in your apartment, even in your one-bedroom apartment. The food that you eat foods across the globe. Any cuisine that you want, you can have it as soon as you leave Jama'ah. We forget these blessings. And it makes us comfortable. And we forget that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us all of this and can take it away just like He has shown us. We wouldn't do anything because when we go to Price Right and we see another Muslim brother, we're scared to give each other salam. That's where we are. We're scared. You see a brother across the aisle shopping from you and you don't want to say assalamu alaikum loudly because you're scared somebody else might look at you weird. Not even hurt you. You're just fear that they're going to look at you weird. So you don't say salam. When you introduce yourself to your coworkers, to your colleagues, you change your name from Muhammad to Mo, Osama to Sam, Sophia to Sophia. And it's not because it's your nickname. It's because you want to hide your identity. But haven't we seen that another benefit is that no matter how you hide, it doesn't matter. We see who our allies are and who our friends are, and who our enemies are. It's very clear. There's no point of hiding as a Muslim. You can't choose both sides, and there's no reason to. There's no reason to appease them, non-Muslims, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us everything. There's no reason not to be a confident Muslim, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us, especially here, all the peace and comfort we can ask for, and yet we're still afraid. When our brothers and sisters over there aren't afraid of the bombs that are landing on them, but we're afraid that our boss will give us a weird look. We're afraid to ask your boss, a human being, to pray 3-4 minutes. How many times, and I'm speaking to myself first, how many Dhuhr Salahs have you missed, Asrs, that you missed on your 9 to 5 because you were scared to ask your manager for 3-4 minutes? That's all you need to pray Dhuhr, you need 4 minutes. And you were afraid to ask him to pray. Not because he's going to do anything to you, and you're protected in this country to pray, but you're just ashamed. You feel shy. SubhanAllah, take this lesson from them. Take this lesson that they are literally being bombed, and we're here, afraid of somebody looking at you weird. There's no other way to say it except that it's pathetic to us. And we can't talk about what we would do to help them if we can't even help ourselves. That we fear our human, our bosses more than we fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How can you go to Allah asking, why did you miss all these prayers? How could you would be shamed to answer that I was scared about my boss, a human, who can't even harm you. Over there, they're being harmed if they pray. Even in India, I just saw people getting beat up for praying. That's not even a thought here. Nobody will touch you. And you're afraid. May Allah protect us. I'll give you one more example of this and try to think about it. And I'll be a little graphic, but imagine a smoke bomb comes into one of these windows right now. Just like it happens for every Tarawih in Ramadan and Jum'ah over there in Masjid al-Aqsa. Every year it happens. It didn't just start out. Every single Ramadan they smoke it out and they beat people up. So imagine something came in through here. We would all leave, of course, for our safety. But we would never come back to this masjid. If that happened today, this masjid would be empty for the next Jum'ah. Because we would be all afraid. But when you look over there, the Masjid al-Aqsa is more filled every single year than it was the last year. They can't fit in the masjid, they're filling the streets with how many people there are. And over there, they know for a fact that they'll be attacked. It's not a question of if they'll be attacked, they will be attacked. And it will happen this Ramadan. And yet, those sisters are there, the kids are there, praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If that happened here, I promise you there would be 10 of us here to show up to pray. The Prophet ﷺ tells us in a hadith that brings the 2 points together. عن ابي هريره رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم المؤمن القوي خير واحب الى الله من المؤمن الضعيف وفي كل خير احرص على ما ينفعك واستعن بالله ولا تعجز وان اصابك شيء فلا تقل اني فعلت كذا وكذا ولكن قل قدر الله وما شاء فعله فان لو تفتح عمل الشيطان. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, according to the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, says that the strong believer is more lovable and is better than a weak believer. And strength doesn't mean, take it literally with physical strength, but it also means spiritual strength. It also means a confident believer. Strength isn't just physical. It means somebody who's confident in their self, confident in their Islam, confident in who they are. And then he says, and there is good in everyone. And the second part of the hadith, that when something happens, a calamity comes down, any form of trouble, big or small, don't say, if I had done that, like if, should have, could have, would have, none of that. Don't say if that, this would have happened, or if Allah did this would have happened. But say, that is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordained. And that's what it is. And this if, right, that question that I started with, why would Allah allow this? This if that you have, it opens the gate to the shaitan. I'll end the khutbah inshallah. We're 3 days before Ramadan. And this is the time, the unique opportunity that we have to elevate ourselves. Right? And I mentioned weaknesses that we have, the cowardliness that you may or may not admit to. And other things, you might not have that, but some people struggle with jealousy, or backbiting, or lying, all of these diseases of the heart. This is a month in Ramadan to cleanse yourself of them. Cleanse yourself of these impurities and these things that bog you down. We always forget, Ramadan is not a month that you lose your body weight. It's not about getting skinnier, and that's a side benefit, of course. But it's about losing the weight of your sins, those sins that hold you down, that hold your ruh, your spirit down, and the ego that holds you down. That's what we cleanse ourselves of. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows us, gives us 11 months. 11 months that we feed our outer bodies, our physical selves. We follow all our desires, and we feed and strengthen our outer bodies for 11 months. And we forget the inner soul for those 11 months, the ruh. Right? We do the opposite of what we're supposed to. And now, this 1 month, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us a beautiful opportunity to do the opposite. Where we starve our outer bodies, but we feed our inner selves. And that's the point of Ramadan, doing the opposite. We take this time and starve ourselves for a couple hours, but our soul is elevated and cleansed. So when you fast, make it beneficial for yourself. Make this Ramadan, have goals for it. that if you're struggling with something, only you know what's in your heart. We all struggle from something, some disease of the heart. Make it a goal for these 30 days that you cleanse yourself from it. If you find yourself you're fasting, but yet you're still cursing, you're still lying, you're still committing sin, there's no point of your fast. You're not benefiting. Your soul is not gaining anything. So take this time, you have 3 days where you can sit with yourself and you can try to improve yourself. You don't know if you'll live to the next year. So now is the time to sit down and purify yourself to be better for the 11 months. Right? Because in this 1 month, the goal is to strengthen our inner ruh, our spirit, enough so that it lasts the next 11 months till the next Ramadan. We can do it again. And don't complain about being hungry, brothers and sisters. When our brothers and sisters over there are now being starved and being mocked, they're literally starving to death. And all we have to do is fast, I think it's 13, 14 hours. 13, 14 hours, wallahi, is shameful for us to complain, to be hungry for 13 hours. When we have the biggest iftar waiting for us every single day. When they are involuntary fasting for weeks on end until they die. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase us. وَقَوْلَ قَوْلِ هَذَا وَاسْتَغْفِرُ اللَّهَ لِي وَلَكُمْ. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So brothers and sisters, take this beautiful month of Ramadan as a month to increase yourself and to reduce all of the evil in you. Any sins that you do, try to reduce them, ask for forgiveness for them, to become a better person at the end, to be closer to your family, be closer to your Muslim community, your brothers and sisters, be closer to yourself. That's what Ramadan is all about, is improving ourselves, getting away from the world and the rat race and everything. Focusing on your spirit. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to do this, to increase our iman. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us make this Ramadan beneficial for us. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا. ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا. ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. ربنا اغفر لنا ولوالدينا وللمؤمنين يوم يقوم الحساب. اللهم اشف مرضانا ومرضى المسلمين أجمعين. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين وأذل الشرك والمشركين ودمر أعداءك أعداء الدين. عباد الله، إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. واذكروا الله العظيم يذكركم واشكروه يزدكم واستغفروه يغفر لكم واتقوه يجعل لكم من أمركم مخرجا. وأقيموا الصلاة. Brothers, you can come forward and there's space in the basement for both men and women with microphone. Please make space for your brothers in the hallway.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن